All right. Good morning, everyone. I'd like to welcome you to the Point of the Mountain State Land Authority Board meeting. Today is Wednesday, January 14th, 2026. We are here in person in the Utah State Capitol, room 445. I really appreciate those board members who are here in person. We also have a number of board members online. I'm Jordan Tusher, co-chair of this board, and would like to recognize my other co-chair, Lowry Snow, who is joining us online from sunny St. George. We hope each of you had a great Christmas and New Year's. To start the new year, we know that a lot has happened in the project, and since our last meeting, our staff and site crews continue to make great progress on the backbone infrastructure, and we're looking forward to receiving an update today from our executive director, who will tell us a little bit more about that. But before we get started into our agenda, our second item, as always, is to take public comment. We understand that this project is a public project and that we have a responsibility to ensure that this project reflects the values of our community. And so we always are interested in hearing from the public and whatever questions or concerns they might have and input on the project. So if there's anyone here in person who would like to speak, would you let me know? Raise your hand. I don't see anyone in the room. What about online? If anyone online would like to present, please raise your virtual hand. All right, don't see anyone online either. So we'll go ahead and close public comment and then move to the third item on our agenda, which is to consider the minutes from the December 10th, 2025 board meeting. This was in the packet for board members. I really appreciate Jen Morrill for preparing these detailed minutes, and we'll go ahead and facilitate any discussion on the minutes or approval of the minutes.
I'll go ahead and make a motion to approve the minutes.
Okay, motion is to approve the minutes. Can I get a second?
Second, Mr. Chair.
Okay, second from Mayor Walker. So the motion before us is to approve the minutes from the December 10th, 2025 board meeting. Any discussion to that motion? Seeing none, I'll place the motion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say nay. I'll rule that passes unanimously. We are on to the fourth item on our agenda, which is our financial update. I'll turn some time over shortly to Don Willey here. Really appreciate the trust that the public has placed in us to ensure that our funds are appropriated in a manner consistent with the approved budget. So we have Don Willey, our Director of Operations, here to review our monthly financials. And I'll turn the time over to you, Don. Go ahead.
Thank you, Chair Tusher. Great to report on our midpoint of financials. So as of December 31st, we're halfway through our budget year. We should be at 50% on our burn rate across the board, and I'm happy to report that we are well above that, almost in every category. We have a few, and I'll point those out to you as we go through here. But as you look on the far right column, you can see that we're doing very well in ensuring that we are good stewards of these taxpayer dollars and ensuring that we are maximizing the return to taxpayers on this project as we move forward. Just a couple where we do see a little bit higher burn. Primary reason on this is just how the year when charges hit versus the year. We run on a cash cash accounting basis instead of accrual. And so when that hits, in earlier in the fiscal year, that will remain on our sheets until the end of the year. So it's a higher upfront cost, but it spreads out over that fiscal year. So the first one there is insurance and bonds. Again, just a one-time upfront payment at the beginning of the fiscal year. That's one time, so it'll even out by the time we hit to the end of the fiscal year. And then second is on membership dues. Again, the same situation there. The only budget line where we do have a higher burn rate than we anticipated is on data processing charges. We brought this up in our last board meeting. We've just had some technology issues with DTS, have had to have them come out multiple times to fix equipment. We're working on a budget adjustment with them that will bring us more in line, but we may need an amendment to the budget, increasing that budget line. As we get down at the bottom, we are at 92% of our budget remaining. We will have some larger items that will hit our budget over the next 6 months. But at this point, we do expect to be well under budget by the end of the fiscal year.
Awesome. Thank you for that report. Really appreciate Don and your work in putting this together. Also want to extend appreciation to Mayor Ramsey and Mayor Walker and our director, Michael Ambre, who serves on the board's finance and audit subcommittee. Let me first go, Mayor Walker, do you have anything you'd like to add to this report?
I think it's awesome to find about $500,000 in interest. That's awesome.
To that end, I'll clarify. We did. Let me go back up, and you can see our initial budget that was approved by the board. We had our interest income accounted for on our operating budget. As far as we knew, in a conversation with the state treasurer, as we were looking over our loan fund, they realized that a portion of our operating revenue is actually in a different interest account, and it wasn't connected to our operating budget number. And so we did receive a deposit of just under $500,000 to our operating budget as a result of that. So we're always happy to find a little more money in there as this the expenses continue to increase for this project. So
yeah, pleasant surprise. Well, we'll go to the board. Is there anyone on the board that has any questions or would like to discuss this?
Mr. Chair, I have a question.
Oh yeah, go ahead, co-chair.
Don, it's just curious when we talk about data processing charges. Can you enlighten us what that relates to? Is that equipment? Is it connectivity, or is it data protection?
Some of everything you just mentioned. So this is just our monthly bill with the Department of Technology Services. So as a quasi-state entity, we contract with them. They're there to be our tech support. They're there to help us set up and troubleshoot our equipment. So we just have a monthly fee that we pay to them. In addition, if there's something above that, if they have to come and spend additional time to manage equipment, then they do bill us in addition to that. So that's why we're running a little bit high. We have our monthly charge, and then they've added some additional billing for some tech issues we've had. So we have that resolved. We're still working with them on a budget adjustment, kind of the situation of repairing the same thing 3 times. And so we're working with them through that to adjust it. We don't think we should have paid as much as we did. But this is just, the office environment. We've got to make sure our machines are running and we're able to do our jobs.
Sure, that makes sense. And maybe a reminder when we talk about memberships, what kind of memberships does that entail? Is that like Salt Lake Chamber?
That's correct. Associations that we feel advance the interests of the project and can help us promote in terms of recruitment for corporate engagement or corporate recruitment and other engagement opportunities. So yeah, we have Salt Lake Chamber, South Valley Chamber, a few more industry specific associations that we work with and support. So those are all couched under the membership dues.
Okay. Thanks, Don. Thanks, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Let's go to Director Ambre.
I just had a comment. So Don, I realize a lot of these categories are tracking above, which is great. I just want to remind everybody that we have a $1.7 million allocation that's been the same for the past, I believe, 6 years now. And that has not gone up with inflation. So any time that we can save and sort of pay this forward, because this project is advancing at a rapid pace, we will probably need to bring on more staff, more consultants. So any time we can save now to help us in the future is great.
Yeah, mind if I make a comment too? To that point, last year we had some higher dollar expenses coming out as we're moving forward on the project. So we expect those to continue now that we're in this phase. So we're doing everything we can. I appreciate the leadership of Director Ambre.
Yeah, that's a great point. Thank you for making that. Any other discussion from the committee? Seeing none, I'll entertain a motion to approve the December financials.
I would make that motion, Mr. Chair.
All right, I'll go first to Executive Director Moss for that. And Larry, do you mind seconding?
I don't mind. That's okay.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second Director Moss any day, you know.
Great. So the motion before us is to approve the December financials report. Any discussion of that motion? Seeing none, I'll place the motion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay.
Aye.
I'll rule that passes unanimously. Thank you, Don.
Thank you.
All right, we're now pleased to hear from our Executive Director, Michael Ambrey. He's going to give us an update on what's happening, the things that have been in progress since our last board meeting, and we'll have a chance to ask any questions that he has. So go ahead, Director.
Thank you, Co-Chair Tusher. Obviously, we had our last board meeting mid-December, and then we had a major holiday in between this one. But we do have some significant things to report on. First of all, we will have on-site progress. We will have temporary power and water completed by mid-February. This allows our development partner to proceed with horizontal and vertical construction. And this is a big deal as well. We do have multiple projects in the queue for design review, including schematic design review for R1A. That's the affordable housing project. We also have a design review for the event center for schematic design. We have a concept review for H3A. That's the mixed use office, retail, and residential, including parking deck. The promenade and pavilions are in for a construction permit as we speak. And then following on that, we have H5A. That's our multifamily mixed use project that is trying to complete construction documents probably by May. So there's a lot in the queue, a lot going on. I appreciate the DRC, the Design Review Committee, for all that they do to help us. Palmsland and Draper, Jordan Basin Sewer District are finalizing impact fee schedules. This is for the greater 600 acres, not just the 100 acres that we're contemplating with TPP. So this has been a significant effort to realize, what additional infrastructure will be needed in the future to help this development succeed, and how do we pay for those projects. DFCM and PALMSLA have drafted an RFP for engineering services for the South Loop Road, which is west of Porter Rockwell Boulevard, which will support the 50-acre for-sale housing project. That is scheduled to hit the street to be solicited this Friday. So we're trying to get that engineered by June, bring on a contractor early summer, and try to get out in front of putting that backbone infrastructure in for that housing project. We also have a partnering meeting with Draper and our third-party consultants scheduled for February 20th, just to realign for the new year and make sure that we're all moving forward in the right direction. And then, I'm sorry, February 20th, my fault. No, Draper's February 20th, sorry. So we also have a strategic focused meeting for next steps and goals for 2026 scheduled with TPP for February 3rd. I think that's the one that Jen was thinking. So there's a lot going on, lots of good progress, and that's the end of my report.
Awesome. Thank you for all that great work. Any comments or questions from the committee?
Just one comment, Mr. Chair. I recently was appointed to the sewer board, so I'll be on that board now going forward. So
awesome. Excited to have you there.
Mr. Chair.
Mayor Wilson.
Thank you. I'd be interested at a later meeting, sometime over the next quarter. Now that we're actually starting to move with infrastructure, the sort of multi-year cadence for the development is probably a reminder for me to understand sort of what's our aspiration for when we phase in all of the infrastructure and then move to some of the larger projects. Just Or if you want to do it out, if everyone else is more in the loop on that than I'd be happy to just do it one-on-one with you. Michael.
Sure, absolutely. Let me give that a little thought to kind of map
Yeah.
that through and yeah, let's plan on meeting.
Thanks.
Thanks for that comment. Anyone else? All right, thank you. Appreciate that great report. We'll move to item 6 on our agenda, which is the Convergence Hall update. I'll invite Angela Smith, who's Chief Operating Officer of Nucleus Institute, to come up. And as many of you know, Convergence Hall is one of the key facilities on our site. As we talked about the vision of the point and what we wanted it to do, really the heart of the project is Convergence Hall, which is really the intent to drive and create an ecosystem where industry, education, and government converge together to drive innovation and solve problems. So I'm so excited for this update, and we'll turn the time over to you, Angela.
Mentioned, I am with Nucleus Institute. We officially launched in July of last year with a mission to drive innovation through collaborating academic, industry, and government together. And the long-term goal is that's all going to happen in a physical place, which is Convergence Hall. So these are the 8 goals we've identified for Convergence Hall. First, it is a place of convergence, hence the name, where we bring together academia, industry, and government to really fuel the innovation economy in Utah. It's a place we'll have labs that solve big problems, the biggest problems facing Utah. Through technology and convergence of resources, we'll provide economic support. The building will be a living lab and a model of innovation throughout the state. The goal is for it to have an iconic presence at the point where it will draw both the public towards it as well as global leaders. We want the building, the design, the way it's created to be inspirational and have people come work in this building and come up with grand ideas. We want it to be a very human-centric building. There will be dorms in the building. Everything that's needed to live, work, and play will be in this building. And then lastly, we are being very financially responsible with how we are thinking about designing and creating this building so that it will be self-sustaining once it's operational. So really exciting building. There's really nothing like it that is in the works in Utah that we've seen before. So kind of a timeline of where we are with Convergence Hall. In 2023, during the legislative session, we secured an initial $50 million to get started on this project. In November 2023, there was the master agreement where we decided where Convergence Hall would be, and we were kind of given our allotted space for it. The next year, 2024, we did an RFP for our design team, and we began programming with them in September of 2024. Last legislative session, we secured an additional $100 million of funding to move forward with this building. And then in May, TPP came to us and offered us additional, the lot that was right next to us for several reasons, which we'll go into. So then we began reprogramming alongside the schematic development of this building. So initially, this was the lot we were working with for Convergence Hall. It was kind of oddly shaped. So there are a lot of things we were kind of working around with the lot design. TPP came to us and offered this space next to it, which they had been planning for a hotel, but decided to move the hotel to a different location in the point. And with this additional land, it really gave us a lot of opportunities with Convergence Hall to rethink design and to implement a lot of things we learned in the programming phase of this building. So we don't have full renderings at this point, but essentially, previously we were going very vertical. It was going to be a 13-story building. What we learned through programming and talking to lots of different innovation hubs and districts around the world is that collaboration really happens laterally, horizontally, not vertically. Every time humans have to go up or down a floor, it's a barrier to convergence, to bumpability, to running into each other. So everyone we showed the building to is like, oh, that's great, but if you could have wider floor plates, that's gonna better align with your mission. So when TPP came to us, offered us this additional lot, which gave us this ability to really expand horizontally, that aligns a lot more with the mission that we have for this building. It also allows us to move a lot faster because it'll now be a low-rise building instead of a high-rise building, and it will be significantly cheaper being a low-rise building. And it also has allowed us to think about approaching Convergence Hall in a two-phase approach. So we can move forward right now with the 150 million we have committed from the state in this phase one, have that up and running along with TPP and POMSLA timelines. And then as we continue the fundraising efforts on the private sector, we would then begin in 1 to 3 years' time, the development of Convergence Hall phase two. It also allows us to be a little bit more responsive to the market as we're building this out to figure out what exactly is needed in Convergence Hall. Do we need more labs? Do we need more workspace? Do we need more housing? And gives us some flexibility in decision-making to build this phase two directly behind the phase one. So really it's helped us out a ton to be given this extra lot. So we're just here today to make it official that we have this second parcel and we can continue to move forward with the timeline that we've been working on alongside POMSLA and TPP. So with that, I'll take any questions.
All right, thank you for that presentation. Let's go to the committee for any questions or comment. Let's go to Mayor Wilson first. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Thank you. And I have a comment as well, but question is, where are we with selection of architects and going to beyond conceptual design?
Yeah, so we selected our architects in summer of 2024. We began the programming phase in September, and we're already into schematic design with our architects.
And who is the architectural firm?
FFKR is the local architecture firm, and then Gensler is out of San Francisco is their
great,
partner
yeah.
on it.
Yeah, both incredibly reputable and have done big projects. A comment is that I was invited up to the Huntsman Mental Health News Center. It's under construction right now. Looks a lot like this building, and they have the same objectives for a collaborative environment within their labs related to mental health. So they're building this amazing center that will be world renowned and attract researchers from around the world. And then our University of Utah specialist in that space will be embedded in this building. And the rounded edges, the multi-level, so you might want to send them up there just to compare. It's a hard hat level. I mean, it's under construction and probably will be open, I think, within a year. So it's interesting that I just did that yesterday and now seeing this presentation. But I appreciate that the programming phase identified that method for collaboration. And I know this is a brief presentation, but it looks great.
Thanks.
Thank you. Go to Director Ambray.
Mayor Wilson, I believe that the same project manager, Taylor Maxfield, is over that exact project
really?
at the U. So I think that
Is
there
the
is,
SCMI, is that what we're talking
I
about?
believe so.
Yeah, we toured that actually on Monday.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Yeah, which is great building. And Mark Paul is also on our investment board and is helping with the design of this building.
Mayor Walker.
Yeah, is the building fully funded by an appropriation? In other words, it's you have enough money, it's all the way, it's ready to go.
So we have 150 million for phase one, fully ready to go. We're moving forward with that. We are in efforts to raise money privately for the phase two, but 100% we're good with the budget allocated for phase one to be up and running.
Then my next question, I can't remember, and I'm sure Jefferson can answer it for me, but I'm assuming does this have space in it that will, generate some tax revenue for the project and the state, or is it all the sort of a non-tax paying type situation? Can someone just kind of help remind me about how the space will be used and what it might produce?
Yeah, so there'll be sorry, that was in my other hat. It's kind of weird when I'm sitting in both hats here, but when I was under Nucleus, yeah. So it will have revenue, the retail on the bottom floor will all be revenue generating, as well as within the building, there'll be additional revenue generation in terms of leasing spaces and things like that. There'll be other opportunities for tax revenue in addition to the retail.
And I'm assuming you hope it spins off a bunch of other business opportunities and cool stuff that will maybe even go right at the point. Is that kind of the hope?
Yeah, so when we looked at I can speak a little bit, and then Angela can talk as well, because she's done a lot of these as well. The whole point of it, in fact, most of these innovation districts, what's been so great about them is that a lot of the growth in the areas around them, initially they were recruiting, when they've launched these innovation districts in other parts of the world, initially it was trying to recruit companies in. And as those companies, as they built out these innovation districts, as companies were getting capital, just the hub of activity of entrepreneurship. Now, when you go to a lot of these hubs that have been around for a few years, a lot of the new tenants that are coming into those districts are actually spinning out of those incubators and accelerators that are within that building. Some to the point of, in St. Louis was one of the first ones I looked at. In fact, we worked really closely with CIC who developed it. Very successful innovation district. Initially, it was like 20 or 30% of the companies were coming out of their own incubators. Now it's like 60 to 70% of the new space. They're now growing companies that are, several hundred employees, is now coming out of their innovation district. And that's the goal over the next few years is, as these companies are successful, they're going to need more space. And so they're going to continue to look and hopefully we keep them close, right? We want to keep that ecosystem. A lot of the desire of these companies too, I'll just add, is that they want to be around the cool startups and the innovation and the research that's happening. And so it is another reason it kind of makes it sticky when they leave. They still want to be part of that ecosystem. And so it helps to keep them within that space. I don't know if Angela wants to add anything to that.
You did a great job.
Great. Mayor Walker, did that complete your comments or questions?
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it. It looks exciting.
Great. Any other comment from the board or questions? Not seeing any. Let me just say, I really appreciate the great work here. As I mentioned at the beginning, I really see this as the heart of the project. And so we need to make sure that it's well done to allow everything else that we're planning for the point to be successful. And so as you continue to move forth with the design, I hope that we're not shortchanging the value or kind of the grand vision of what you guys want to do because of trying to figure it out in the financial constraints. And I think you've done a really good job of trying to balance that. I mean, obviously we don't have unlimited amounts of money to do this, but as one of the goals of the project that you stated was ensuring that this is an iconic place. It's something that really we can show as an example and a symbol of the overall project. And so I hope as you continue that design in phase 1 and in phase 2 that you have that. And I think my only fear in all of this is that maybe we're under designing, that it's going to be so popular that there's just not going to be enough space, and we're going to come back and be like, man, I wish we would have built a couple more floors or had a little more space there to ensure that it is a success.
And I'll just add, that is what the phased approach allows us to do. As people see the vision of phase 1, we're hoping it brings in a lot of funding to do some really cool things with phase 2.
Yeah, thank you. I'm glad you have that flexibility. Senator Stevenson.
Yeah, just a quick comment. Sometimes when we build these amazing projects and start these really good things in the state of Utah, we move to a point where everyone wants some credit for what takes place. But I will tell you, having watched this process go through the legislature last year and the Innovation Center, if it wasn't for Director Moss, this wouldn't be here because he was pretty locked on that this was going to happen. Very difficult to figure out how to finance it. But Jeff, it's very evident to me who got this to where it is. And I'm sure there will be a lot of us that are going to want to help take credit for it once we see the fruits of it come out. So anyway, thank you. I think this is going to be a very big part of what we do there at the point. And I think someone needs to pat you on the back and not yourself. You don't do that very well. Don't pat yourself on the back well. So anyway, thank you, Jeff.
Thank you.
Very true. Co-Chair Snow.
Thank you. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes. Echo what Senator Stevenson said. He beat me to it, but I wanted to recognize Jefferson Moss. Representative Moss to me will always be, I suppose, for having the vision and pursuing this project. And I won't go into detail because it wouldn't be right at this point, but there are other things that are in the mix that are going to come in to fruition. And so all in all, this is really good timing, Jeff. So thanks for moving this project forward. And I agree also with Representative Tusher that working on the design and finding the right balance that works and is also economically feasible is the right move. But this is going to be an important part of this entire project. So thanks, Jefferson, for all of your work.
Do you mind if well, first of all, I really appreciate the comments, and I would say, it's been very much a combined effort of a lot of people. I'm grateful that I've had the opportunity to be part of this. I will just add that I've been grateful for Angela, who's taken over as COO, and with this second job I've taken on, a lot of the heavy lift over the last few months has been her and her team, and it's been great to watch just the amount of due diligence, the amount of research that they've done, all the stakeholders that they've continued to bring in. I mean, when I went through the review the other day, literally with the fine tooth comb, every space has been thought out so clearly to making sure that this is an incredible project. So I'm really grateful for Angela's being able to take that over. So just wanted to add that out.
May I ask a question, Mr.
Please.
Chair?
Go ahead.
If we didn't talk about this, and Angela and Jefferson, you're both there. Did you talk about a timeline, what your anticipated timeline is?
Yeah, so it's a little bit in flux. Part of it is making sure we have this lot secured so that we can move forward with the programming we finalized at the end of last month. It's looking like we should be up and running in Q1 of 2029. That's what we're tracking towards right now. A little bit of it's dependent on bid packages and things like that, but we are trying to move as quickly as possible at this point.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for that great presentation, Angela. We did not notice on our agenda the specifying this change in this second lot. And so we'll have to address it in our next board meeting. So we'll make sure that's on the next agenda, but hopefully that doesn't slow anything down. And
We'll keep moving forward.
we'll move forward in that direction. But we really appreciate the great work that you and your team are doing and this presentation that we have today. All right. Well, that gets us through our short agenda. I'm sure everyone's happy some of these meetings over the last few months have gone quite long. And so to end a little bit early, I think everyone's pretty happy. I guess that's what happens when Chair Snow hands the gavel over to me. But
Well, okay, Chair Snow, what did you know?
But no, we appreciate all the presentations that we had today. Greatly appreciate our staff and the work that goes into these meetings and all the work that is done between these meetings to really move the project along. Typically, we do not hold a board meeting in February because of the legislative session that is taking place. However, we do anticipate there's a couple critical items that we will need to address in February. And so our plan is to hold a virtual board meeting in February. We may need to be flexible on the timing. Right now, in the way that it's scheduled, it would overlap with floor time, which probably doesn't make a lot of sense for myself and for Senator Stevenson. And so we'll be sending out an email looking for a time that will work, that we can come forward with a short agenda on just the most critical items that we have for February. With that, unless there's any other comments or questions, we'll go ahead and take a motion to adjourn.
So moved, Mr. Chair.
Second.
All right, that's been moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say nay. We are adjourned. Thank you.